Today we're going to talk about a good warm-up for running day. Or some day that involves some sort of changing of direction. All right. One of the biggest things we see is that people on running days, they kind of use the run as the warm-up, but this is a way to make sure all those lower body muscles in the quads, the hamstrings, the hip flexors, the calves, the soleus areas, all warmed up before we even start to run. Because when we run, I want you to run fast. All right, so the very first thing I want you to do is we're gonna set out cones. These cones are not 50 feet, but just imagine they are. Say the camera subtracts about 30 feet from the cones. All right, so they're 50 feet apart, so we're gonna do the warm-up as it's gonna be written as we get rocking and roll here. So Coach Kayla's gonna help me out. The very first thing she's gonna do is just jog back and forth 3 times. Easy jog, just going back and forth. Good, so that's 1. Working on keeping her posture upright. You'll notice she'll start swinging her arms like an athlete before too long. All right, she's gonna go 1 more trip down and back, nice and easy. All right, and when she gets back down here, she's gonna go, all the rest of these movements are just gonna be down and back. Okay, so the jogging is gonna be down and back 3 times. Now we're just gonna go down and back. So the very first one she's gonna do is high knees. All right, so she's gonna focus on driving her knee up off the floor as high as she possibly can. All right, notice her toes are kind of pointed down a little bit. Fantastic. The more reps you can get here with high knees, the better it's gonna be. All right, but make sure you're gonna jog first. Fantastic. So she finishes with her high knees. Next, she's gonna go through butt kickers. So butt kicker looks eerily similar to high knees. Her knees are staying a little bit lower, but notice she's actually pulling her heel up into her butt, trying to kick her butt with her own heel. All right? So lots of people will do this wrong when I have to make sure that knee's pointed forward. All right, make sure she's physically pulling up to hit herself in the butt. Next, we're gonna do skipping. All right, so first one's just gonna be regular skip. Imagine like Little Red Riding Hood going down the trail, taking a basket to her grandma. Fantastic, just skip it nice and easy. Second time is gonna be skipping for height. So she's gonna, every single time, try to skip as high as she possibly can. Good, gonna skip for height down and back. And then the third time is gonna be skipping for distance. Gonna try to cover as much ground as possible in between the skips. So she's really trying to explode forward when she does this. Fantastic. Good, next trip is gonna be cocky walks. For our cocky walks, I wanna get up onto the balls of my feet. All right, I wanna stay on the balls of my feet, and I basically just wanna act like I'm just running a little bit, but I'm not using any other muscle in my body but the ones in my ankles. Okay, so her heels are never touching the ground. She's gonna walk all the way across the floor. Imagine like she is the only rooster in the hen house. Okay, so super, super proud, kind of walking with a little pep in her step. All right, these are called cocky walks down and back. After that, she's gonna warm up the front side of her leg. So this is a tibialis anterior muscle. Gonna walk on her heels all the way across the floor and all the way back. This will really, if you haven't done these before, they're really gonna fire up that front part of your leg. But a good warm up here is walking on those heels all the way back. Notice her toes are not touching the ground at this point. It's almost like the complete opposite of a cocky walk is a heel walk. Good, next I'm gonna have her face the camera on this one. She's gonna do a side to side, basically just a side shuffle. All right, she's gonna drop her butt nice and low and she's gonna shuffle across. As she's doing this, her feet never come close together. Kaylee, do 1 more trip down and back. So her feet never come close together, right? I don't want her feet to come inside her hip width at all. So you can big steps out to the side, keeping that butt nice and low. Notice she wasn't hopping up every single time. Her body was low, her legs were doing the only moving. I mean, it kind of looks like a crab when they walk sideways. Keeping low to the ground, just moving your legs side to side. And then last, we call it a hip opener. Some people call it open the gate, close the gate type thing. But she's gonna imagine that she's got a little obstacle right here in front of her leg that she is stepping over. So she's gonna kick her knee out to the side and really open up that hip and step over that invisible fence or that invisible cone. So she's gonna keep walking forward, gonna open those hips and step over every single time. When she gets to the finish, now she's gonna take a step and go backward over that same obstacle. So hips gonna come, or knees gonna come up and then out first. All right, as she takes our back step over this whole entire distance. So she's gonna go 50 feet closing down her hip first, and then she's gonna go 50 feet, opening up her hip as she comes back. All right, so we will go through that one time before we run. So that, again, the cones are set up at 50 feet apart. This is our run pre-warm-up. All right, if you have any questions about any of the movements we listed or your warm-up in particular, please comment in the comment section below. If you like what we're doing here, kind of like what you see, make sure you subscribe to the link above to all the Hyperform videos that we have produced. All right, have a good day, guys. Chest is up, elbows are tucked into her rib cage, and she's just flicking her wrist, kind of letting that wrist do all the work. Notice her bounces are pretty consistent. She's just jumping straight up